sorry, came late. I don't know whether this question has been put. This is on super visa. Canadians have recently launched super visas, and the Indian Canadians are up in arms against it. They call it super crop. They have several problems. One of the irritants is the fee structure is higher, and insurance cover for the senior citizens is not there. So, is it going to be on the table? Is it? Are you going to seek any reversal on this reason?
I must be honest, this has not been one of the issues that we've had currently on the agenda, but certainly we'll come back on this.
Thanks for the super question, Ravi. Yes, Parul.
Can you give us an update on the negotiations on Indo-Canadian FTA, and as well as he's coming with a substantial trade delegation. So, and who are the other ministers accompanying him?
Yeah,
and why is he going to Bangalore and Chandigarh?
Well, okay, thank you, Parul. But the question about why he's going where he's going is really probably best directed to his media advisor, not me. We are quite happy to have our visiting dignitaries travel to wherever they wish in our country. Bangalore is quite often a visited city, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm from Bangalore. But Chandigarh, of course, there is interest given the strong population, of course, I'm sure, of people of Punjabi origin there. But visiting delegations tell us that they wish to go to X, Y, and Z after Delhi. It's fine with us usually. We have absolutely no comment on that to offer. But your first question was who are the ministers? That is in our little press release. But basically, the cabinet minister accompanying is Minister Edward Fast, who's the Minister for International Trade. The Minister of State for Democratic Reform is Mr. Uppal, and Minister of State for Sport is Mr. Koshal. So those are the ministers accompanying.
Democratic reforms. Democratic reforms.
Again, now I can hardly speak for the government of Canada on how they allocate portfolios and what they call them. So really, that one you got me.
Yeah, Vijay.
Oh, sorry, there was a question on the FTA, sorry. Discussions are on, it isn't an FTA, it's a CEPA negotiation, Comprehensive Economic Partnership negotiation. The next round of negotiations will take place in the middle of this month in Canada. We are hopeful of moving forward within the next 12 to 18 months' time to actually conclude it. But negotiations are moving at a pretty fast pace now, so I think there is great hope for forward movement of this.
Is there any talk between India and Canada about the extraction of the natural resources in the Arctic zone? Because China, Russia, and then America and Canada, all of them are interested in this kind of a race that is going on. Are we in talk with Canadians so far as this is concerned?
We're actually looking into Volume 2, but Canada will chair the Arctic Council next year, and it is an area in which we definitely are hoping to talk to them about. So during the visit, let's see what kind of dialogue we can have on the subject. Thank you.
And I presume that ends. You have? Yes, please, below. Just hold on.
What is the political component of this particular relationship? Is there a strategic element to it at all?
I'm not too sure I follow the question, but in the sense of the political component being the quality of interaction between the leaders, well, I mean, I've just shown you how the scale of interaction has increased considerably. Our leaders have also had the opportunity to meet in a number of international fora. India and Canada are also co-chairs of a subgroup in the G20. In defense, yes, well, we have been in dialogue with Canada. Canada's defense structure is quite dissimilar from ours in the sense that it is entirely in the private sector pretty much, and even the equivalent of our DRDO is a corporation in Canada, it's DRDC. So direct engagement in the form of a state-to-state relationship is a little more difficult. It's also different from the United States, which has a foreign military sales program which is routed through the Department of Defense. So in Canada, the quality of partnership tends to be through private sector entities. But certainly we are interested in it, and thank you for reminding me, I should have mentioned that, because defense technology in Canada and the quality of capacity in Canada is very high. So it is an area in which we are engaging with them, and we hope we already have an MOU cooperation in some parts of this. So we look to taking this forward during the visit.
One question each. It is already in the press release. Anyone else? Well, then I open the floor for my part of it. So if any of you have any questions on anything else than Canada, you're welcome to ask. Yes, Shan.
This is a very big question. There were these reports about the 1971 war POW in Oman, and it was said that the Indian mission in Oman would also try and verify these reports. What has come of it? And are there any such issues that in terms of prisoners, not even real prisoners, Indian prisoners in London?
Okay, yeah, let's first tackle the issue about the prisoner of war in Oman. This came up as a surprise, but it did come up some time ago. Based on a media report, our mission in Muscat has raised it with the concerned authorities. Subsequently, I think the police chief in Muscat did clarify in a local newspaper that there were no such prisoner by that name there. I will send you a copy of that newspaper report from attributing it to the police chief. As regards the issue of prisoners, Indian prisoners in Lanka, what you are perhaps referring to is those who can return to India and serve their sentences in India, because we have such an arrangement with them. The Sri Lankan government has provided us the names of such prisoners who opted for this facility. We have communicated to the Ministry of Home Affairs, which in turn is in consultation with the respective state governments, because ultimately it's those states who will have to take up that responsibility of those prisoners completing their sentence. So if I could summarize where that stands, it is being considered by the Ministry of Home Affairs in consultation with the concerned states. Offhand, I can't recollect the exact numbers, but they are in the vicinity of 10. Because this is something which has been on the platform for some time. Yes, Manish?
The foreign minister had a series of meetings with the foreign ministers of the states of Africa. They managed as give a sense of the discussion.
Yeah, I think those of you who've read the advisory also know that those meetings start at 4:30. Yes, Seema.
What happened with senior officials meet on this Indian Ocean Rim, that the Americans want to come in as dialogue partners? What was the decision taken? Any idea?
The senior officials meeting is still on, and it should be ending up anytime today. But that said, as I mentioned to you last time, as chairperson or as chairman of this grouping, it is our intention to steer this in an amicable manner so that consensus is achieved to the satisfaction of all parties, and we hope to announce that tomorrow at the completion of the ministerial segment. Yes, Shivaji?
So do we have an update on the Italian probe in the South?
Yes, we do have. Given the serious nature of allegations which have appeared in the media, the Government of India has taken serious note of it. And what we've done is our ambassador in Rome had taken up the matter with the Italian authorities on the 29th of October and impressed on them the importance that we place on receiving information from them relating to an Indian national or an Indian entity or any middlemen who may have been involved in these based on media reports. Subsequently, in order to emphasize the importance, Secretary West in the Ministry of External Affairs had called in the Italian ambassador yesterday and has also provided him an aid memoir impressing upon them the importance of responding to our request for information. Both in Rome and in New Delhi, the feedback was they do understand the importance that the Government of India places on this. They will communicate this to the concerned officials who handle it and will revert to us at an early date. So we look forward to that response. Yes, Rajiv.
EM is meeting Iranian Foreign Minister perhaps tomorrow. What is on the agenda? And oil trade will also inevitably come up. Now, what is the status? What is the volume of oil trade between India and Iran? How much is the outstanding payment on part of India, and how we are going to transfer it?
Well, let me give you a bit of information. The Iranian foreign minister has been taken unwell and he has not traveled to India because he has fallen sick. We will only have a deputy foreign minister, Mr. Mohammad Mehdi Akhundzadeh, who handles international organizations, who will participate on his behalf. With that question, the focus will be largely on, I do not know whether there is now going to be a meeting because the foreign minister is not here. Mr. Akhundzadeh is a specialist in international organizations and he heads the international organizations part of it. So the focus will be on multilateral issues. But as of now, we do not have confirmation of a meeting. I think outstanding, what is outstanding? Yeah, sure. Correct. I think due to Iranians is not the right word, because the money is deposited in an Iranian account. It's only in Indian rupees. So the question of due doesn't arise. There is no money due to Iranians. It is available in an Iranian account in the bank. Now, how they wish to utilize it, this is a separate issue, and they are looking at various ways to utilize it. One of the ways that we've suggested is export of agricultural products, perhaps wheat. We are working on that, and once there is an agreement on that, we will provide to you. There are discussions which are going on. There is a visit likely from the Iranian authority which deals with imports, and they will discuss these matters with the concerned officials who are in charge of export of agricultural products from India. I think you should ask this to the Iranian government, not to me.
What is the progress on the agreement signed between India and Vietnam for exploration?
If I can recollect correctly, the status of that is that it was to expire this year, around mid of this year in June. What the Vietnamese have indicated is that they would like to extend the offer to utilize that opportunity by a period of 2 years. It's less than 6 months since that extension was granted. And at the end of 2 years, a decision will be taken whether, or prior to that, a decision will be taken whether it is in interest of OVL to commercially exploit the oil fields which have been given. So at this stage, I don't think there has been further movement, but this is an ongoing thing because 2 years in the oil business, 2 years is not a long time. Yes, Mr. Venkatanath.
Akbar, one of the papers reported this morning that a team of officials from CPI and intelligence sources went to Sri Lanka and questioned KP about his role in Rajiv Gandhi's assassination 21 years ago. Do you have anything to add to that, and are you in a position to give some details? Thank you.
First of all, I think this was in the online edition of that paper, or perhaps also in that paper. But that said, as you said, those are matters handled not by the Ministry of External Affairs. So I wouldn't be the right person to respond to a purported team which has gone for officials of not from the Ministry of External Affairs. So I think you will excuse me from responding to that. Yes, Gautam. I'm grateful.
Pakistan cabinet has approved the new visa regime.